And that's what's about to happen right here in Tampa. We are going to start building a new high-speed rail line right here in Tampa, building for the future, putting people to work. I'm excited. I'm going to come back down here and write it. Joe and I, y'all have a date. When that thing is all set up, we'll come down here and check it out. And by the way, this high-speed rail line is being funded by the Recovery Act. And one other thing we can start doing for jobs here in America that I mentioned last night, I talked about this all through the campaign. We put this proposal in our budget. We keep on getting resistance, but we are going to keep on pushing to end tax breaks for companies that ship our jobs overseas and give those tax breaks to companies that create jobs right here in the United States of America. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Now, I have to say this. The steps that I just mentioned will help accelerate job growth in an economy that is already beginning to grow. But the steps we take alone won't make up for the 7 million jobs we lost over the last 2 years. I mean, keep in mind, when we were sworn into office, that December, we had lost 650,000 jobs. January, as we were being sworn in, we lost 700,000 jobs. February, 650,000 jobs. So before we could even put in place the Recovery Act, you had already seen millions of jobs lost. That's a deep hole that we're going to have to fill. And the only way to do that is to lay a new foundation for long-term economic growth and finally address the struggles that middle-class families have been grappling with for years. Now, Florida, that's why Joe and I asked for the chance to serve as your president and vice president. Because look, we didn't seek this office to push our problems off or take the easy road through the next election. We ran to solve problems that have been nagging at America for decades. We want to solve them for the next generation. We ran to get the tough stuff done. So as I mentioned last night, I make no apology for trying to fix stuff that's hard. Because I'll be honest with you. Joe and I are both pretty smart politicians. We've been at this a while. The easiest way to keep your poll numbers high is to say nothing and to do nothing that offends anybody. That's true. No, you know, you just wave and smile. No, that's how you do it. The minute you actually start doing something, somebody's going to disagree with you. But that's what I promised. Some of you remember the campaign. I said I wasn't just going to tell you what you want to hear. I was going to tell you what you need to hear. So none of this is new. There's nothing that we have talked about since we entered the White House that we didn't talk about during the campaign. And so long as we have the privilege of serving you, we will not stop fighting for your future, no matter how many lumps we've got to take to get it done. I do also have to just mention, I'm going to mention, you know I love you in the media, but I will mention this little aspect of our media. Our friends with the pads and the pencils, last week I went to Ohio, and I started saying what I'm saying now, which is I'm going to fight for your future. And they got all worked up. They got worked up last week. They said, is he trying to change his message? Is he trying to get more populist? Is this a strategy that he's pursuing to boost his this, that, the other? Is this something new? I just have to do a little rewind here of how we ran our grassroots campaign, because I've got some news. I've got some news of my own here. I've been fighting for working folks my entire adult life. That's why I entered public service, to fight for folks in Chicago. That's why I ran for the state Senate. That's why I ran for the U.S. Senate. That's why I ran for president, to fight for people here in Tampa and people here in Florida, and to fight for people all across the United States of America. I seem to remember coming to Tampa 2 weeks before the election. And you know what I said? This is a quote. People can check. I'm sure it was reported in the newspapers. I said, change never comes without a fight. That was true then. It's true now. Change never comes without a fight, Florida, so I won't stop fighting. I know you won't either. We're not going to stop fighting to give our kids a world-class education, to make college more affordable, to make sure that by 2020 we have the highest rate of college attendance of any country in the world. So we've proposed that graduates should only pay 10% of their income to pay back their student loans. And students like that. And what I've said is, we'll forgive student loan debt after 20 years, but after 10, if you choose a career in public service. Because if you decide you want to be a teacher, if you decide you want to be a cop, if you're not making huge amounts of money, we don't want to discourage you from that, because the cost of college. And by the way, I've been there and Michelle's been there. It took us 10 full years to pay off Michelle's student loans, 15 to pay mine off. So I've been there. And our belief, and I think your belief is, in the United States of America, nobody should go broke because they chose to go to college. We want everybody to go to college. And we don't want them going broke doing it. We won't stop fighting to spark innovation and ignite a clean energy economy where America's workers are building solar panels and wind towers and cutting-edge batteries for automobiles, because the nation that leads the clean energy revolution